at every event, every place I went, every territory under the sun, I saw somebody wearing this bag. And I was like, hey guys, welcome back to the Power Closet, a space for perspectives where conversation meets style. If you're new here, hi, what's up? What's poppin', lockin', droppin', stoppin', rockin'? My name is Tumi. I make all sorts of videos from fashion, conversation, lifestyle, and everything in between. Why, hello people, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, it would mean the world to me if you subscribed. I upload 2 times a week on Wednesdays and on Sundays. And if you love all things tasteful in fashion, lifestyle, that kind of good stuff, this is definitely the place to be. I would also really love it if you could follow me on other social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram. I can be a little bit more active on there because chances are you will get me on a daily basis. Okay, my internet friends, now that we are done with pleasantries, today I have a bit of a dilemma and I need your help, okay? I really need your help. Come closer. Please come closer. A little bit closer. I don't know why I'm doing that as though I can see what you're doing on the screen. But today I'm going to be speaking to you guys about something I've kind of been dancing around, like going back and forth and back and forth. And I was like, you know what? Let me throw this to my community and let's have a conversation, because we always speak about luxury stuff, acquiring luxury stuff, what I think is worth buying, premium high street, all that kind of good stuff. So now that I'm in this kind of dilemma, I thought, why don't I talk through what it is I'm thinking, share it with my community, and then we can have a conversation in the comments below and you guys can tell me what it is that you think. Now, the whole purpose of this video is there are a few bags in my wardrobe and my collection that I've been thinking, I feel like I want to get rid of you. Not get rid of like, oh, good riddance, but more so I have extracted the value from the bag and I feel like it is time for me to part ways with it. Now, if you've been following my channel, I remember that there was a video I did last year. I think it was like Declutter Your Wardrobe or something of that sort, where I spoke about how when I'm going through different transitional seasons and looking through my collection, I'm always getting rid of stuff. So be it I'm giving it to charities, selling it on platforms, that kind of stuff. Like I make a habit of not just acquiring and not getting rid of things it is that I don't want. I try as much as possible to do this like as I go through seasons. And in this season, I just really have been looking at some specific items and I'm like, to me, is it time to finally part ways with these bags? But we're going to talk through the bags in a second. And now I'm just going to explain how I'm thinking about what are the things that are worth letting go and why. And maybe it would be a great time for you to also do this with your wardrobe. Now, if you follow Power Closet very closely and follow me closely, you know that something I speak about a lot is my faith. And one of the scriptures that God gave me about Power Closet is hinged on Genesis 41:14, I believe, when it says, and Pharaoh sent for Joseph, he shaved, changed his garments, and went before Pharaoh. And I always speak about how I feel like one of the places that God has called me to is to really speak about how like your clothes, your appearance, and how you show up is so important, particularly if you feel like God has called you to a place of visibility. There's a way you have to show up. And even if you're not called to a place of visibility, in life, your appearance really, really does matter. Now, when you go through transitional seasons, I found that in my experience, my appetite for the types of clothes has changed drastically. Like, go through my channel. You will even be able to tell that, okay, to me, you've just been going higher and higher and higher. But that's not the point. It's more so like, as I have changed, my desire for what I want in my wardrobe has also changed, which has also resulted in me giving away a lot of stuff in recent times. I don't record those videos, but do I record? I think I talked about it a little bit on TikTok, like my New Year declutter I did, which I'll put the video on the side. But other than that, like I give away stuff, right? Okay, now I've rambled quite a bit. But the first reason why I tend to like selling my things is I just feel like it is not representative of who I am anymore. In the sense that maybe I just feel like I'm in a different season. And I know sometimes there have been cases where, beware, I have sold things faster than I would have liked to. Like there's this thing that I sold, and till today when I think about it, I'm like, tell me, why did you sell that thing? So you have to be very careful, because sometimes it can be a case of you putting the cart before the horse. But there are definitely situations where I feel like items are not representative of my personal style, where it is I feel like I'm in life, or just the message it is I want to portray through my clothes, my accessories, and how I show up. So when I feel that, that is probably one of the biggest signs this needs to go. That is something that I do quite regularly. Maybe like I'll say at least once a year, I always go through my clothes to make sure that everything that is in my wardrobe, from clothes, shoes, bags, whatever the case may be, they are representative of who I am as a person. A good case in point is right now, there is a bag by my door that is packed, ready for the charity shop, and in it there is like an Alexander McQueen chiffon style scarf. I bought this when I was in uni, and you know, back then it was like super trendy, or at least I thought it was. If you didn't go through that phase, good for you, but I thought it was like super trendy, like a McQueen scarf to like uni. But when have you ever seen me wear a McQueen scarf throughout my years of YouTube? I do not wear that. So it's like, why is that in my closet? And yes, I could sell it, but I think sometimes be a good citizen and give it to a charity shop. Do something good today. All right, so when I find out that it's not representative of me, the next thing that usually happens is number 2 is I don't wear this item as much anymore. So it's like a sequence of events. The first thing is I feel like, you know, I've kind of become like a bit of a different person. What I want to portray through my clothes is very different. My style has evolved, my taste has evolved. So something I may have liked in one season, I don't really like it anymore. What tends to happen is I don't wear that thing as often. Yeah, and that's the next thing. And then there's a third one. Hold on, I need to check my notes. I was writing down. Oh yeah. I think this is like, this just pretty much sums up everything. It just doesn't feel fresh. It just doesn't feel fresh. It doesn't feel new. Like, you know, I want to feel fresh. I want to feel new, you know, like, you know, new season, new, like, you know, the Bible says that his mercies are new every morning, new, fresh. Behold, I do a new thing. Old things are passed away. Like, I don't like holding on to old garments. Like, no. That's not my vibe at all. So once I feel like I'm not using something as much, that's when I just put it on the time to go list. And now the items it is we're going to be discussing are all here. So let's start talking through them one by one. So the first item would be in this bag. Now, if you know your bags, you pretty much already know what this is. And this is none other than the Bottega Veneta Jodi clutch. So I remember getting this in 2021. Yeah. So that was 4 years ago. That is actually so poor, actually. That is so poor. Now, when I say so poor, it's just clocking that I've actually only had this bag for 4 years. I've only had this bag for 4 years. Now, I got it in 2021. And when I got this bag, it was actually very difficult to find. I even have, you guys know how my stories are. So let's go, shall we? I remember I was working on New Bond Street. And then this was when I was still knee deep in investment banking. And I remember desiring this bag. Like, the bag was so hot then. Bottega was like, oh, off the rails. And I remember the Holy Spirit saying, you know, check Bottega. And I remember what's so funny is that day I had just gotten paid. I had just gotten paid my bonus. So it was like, hey, oh, I should go check out Bottega. Okay, fine, let me go. I'm like, and I was asking him, Holy Spirit, you know, is the bag there? And he didn't respond. I was like, is the bag there? Like, they always say that the bag is sold out. So I go to Bottega on New Bond Street that morning. It was like bright like really early in the morning. I go and I'm like, hey, do you have this bag in stock? And then the man goes and he's like, you must be one of the luckiest girls because this bag has been sold out for so long and I literally have only 2. One has been sold and we just got the last one. 2 came in this morning. 1 is already sold. There's just 1 more left and this is it. Of course, now it's way easier to get the parakeet color, but back then getting it was such a sport. So I think the best way we can do this is we're going to have a bit of a pros and cons for selling the bag. So the pros of selling the bag, the first most obvious thing is I can use the money and invest it into something else. I'm really in a season of like investing more in designer ready to wear and pieces that stand the test of time and just look like quality, you know, like some good quality stuff. And chances are those things tend to cost a lot of money. So if I sell this, I can use the money and invest it into something like that, or a different pair of shoes, or put it towards another bag. Another pro of selling this would be no hoarding. Okay, no hoarding. And it means I can keep my wardrobe fresh. Now, the cons for selling this would be a memory is attached to the bag in the sense that I did buy this with one of my bonuses. And also, what would be another con? Am I being irrational? Like, at the end of the day, I've literally only had this bag for 4 years. It's not even 4 years because 4 years would make it it's almost 4 years. 4 years will make it the end of this month. But am I being irrational? So please let me know in the comments below. I have gotten my money's worth. Like, I'll put so many pictures and like content on the side of how I have used this bag. One of the things I feel like that really kind of irritates me now is that it is very green. And it's not like a neutral kind of green. It is like, oh, hi, I am green, like neon green. And I loved that when I bought it. But lately, I'm like, do I really need this? And it's in such good condition because I actually really keep my designer stuff. I keep my designer stuff pretty well. I mean, it costs a lot of money. You really should. So please let me know what you think about the Jodi. I can't seem to decide. Should I keep it? Should I sell it? Let me know what your thoughts are and we can have a conversation in the comments below. So the second item is this bag from By Far. And I'm pretty sure that I spoke to you guys about this before I bought it, but I don't think I actually unboxed it on the channel. Now, I bought this off Vestiaire Collective. It was pretty much, I think it was brand new, and it came with the dust bag, the box, all that kind of good stuff. And this is the bag. Now, you know, I have a lot to say about this bag, you know. So the first thing is, why do I want to sell this bag? Now, this is a lesson for everybody. You know how I say all the time that I love a good deal? You have to be very wary about deals, because the thing with deals sometimes is that deals can make you take something that you actually didn't want to buy. Because the truth of the matter was, I actually never wanted this color. What I wanted was the By Far bag, this boy, I think it's called the By Far, is it boy bag? I'll put the exact name on the screen. I actually wanted it in a red. That was what I wanted. I wanted it in red. And then I saw this on Vestiaire. I was like, oh, it's a good price. Let me just buy it. I bought it. I got it. And I was like, I was very underwhelmed. I was very, very, very underwhelmed. Now this bag, I really liked the bag initially, but I remember being a little bit irritated when I went out with it and I would put my stuff and it would be so fiddly to, can you see, to turn? Can you see how difficult, if on screen, how I'm trying to turn the lock and it's not turning? Like I would have to position, literally have to fight for dear life to be able to turn the lock. And this was one of the reasons why I had to go back and even update my style guides, because I remember I had recommended this bag, and after I had used it for a while, I was like, look, no, the bag is not bad, but it's too fussy. And the whole point of me doing like my everyday style guides was I wanted the bags to be things that weren't fussy. So this was fussy. So I had to swap it out and put another brand that I thought was way better. Now, that was one of the things that really annoyed me about it. Like my friend, I remember Ops and I, when we would go out, she would see how, look at, case in point. So irritating, like very, very, very irritating. So apart from the fact that it wasn't the color I wanted, I found that in terms of functionality, it was actually quite irritating. I also don't like the fact that it's super rectangular. And honestly, I feel like the quality of their embossed leather is not it for me. I'm so sorry, it's just not it. I think a brand that does embossed leather pretty well is Totem. I'll put a picture of their bag on the side. Of course, it's a little bit more expensive. To be honest with you, I would rather spend the money, because I think Totem's is probably around 800-900 pounds for like the small one, and then the By Far bag retail is like 450 pounds, which is not the cheap. Of course, it's way cheaper than buying like a mini Jodi, right? The mini Jodi now is like 1,500 or thereabout, and this is way cheaper. But yeah, let's just do the pros and cons, shall we? Now, pros, again, I get the money, I can invest it into something. So maybe I'll pool the money with the Bottega, or I'll use it for like vintage jewelry, or use it to invest in like a really sturdy designer tank top or something it is that I have my eye out on my Teresa, on like Net-a-Porter, or whatever the case may be. So basically take the money and put it into something else. The cons for this is this is not the kind of bag I'll be passing down to my daughter, okay? I will not be frustrating my children. so there, I don't even know what the cons are. I feel like this one is okay, there is a con. Let me be kind to it. In the sense that I had that bag for 4 years. Was I being irrational? This one, I haven't even had it for up to a year. And my friend was of the mind like, to me, why don't you try styling it? I did try styling it with like jorts and it went well. But I remember I was trying to have it as a like pouch. So if you think those pouches from like Bottega or like Philosophy, and it was just giving struggle a bit, to be honest with you. And I know that's a bit harsh, but I was like, what's this? Like, what is this? What is this? You don't close easily. You're just a bit fussy. And I'm not even going to make that much from it, to be honest with you. Maybe this is another one I should consider giving to charity, to be honest with you. do a good deed. Do a good deed for society. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. So I don't want to slander the bag because it's not a bad bag. I just feel like it is not fulfilling the purpose for which I bought it, which is why I feel like I want to put it in the selling pile or the to be sold pile. But please let me know what you think about this one and every other thing it is I will be showing you. Now, the next item is a high street bag. So we've gone luxury, premium designers, and now high street. Now this bag is none other than the mango clutch. Now the story behind this, if you've been on my channel, I feel like I might have spoken about it at some point in time. I remember seeing this bag when I went to Westfield one day, in the same way that when we did the Zara vlog, I went to Westfield and I bought those beautiful sandals. It was the same thing. I go to Mango Westfield every now and again. Now when I bought this bag, I thought it was so chic, so stunning. I think 2 days later, like no shade, I'm just being honest, 2 days later, I remember like a creator putting it up and everybody bought the bag. And I love that, right? I love that. It's such a stunning bag. Everyone can buy it. But I remember there was just something about how at every event, every place I went, every territory under the sun, I saw somebody wearing this bag. And I was like, feel like I've seen you too much now. Now you're beginning to annoy me. that was the point. Like it was just so overdone. Like everybody wore this bag that year. Everybody. Like even to events, you see events, somebody carrying it. Like I said, oh, this is serious. This is serious. Now it's not because everybody has it now, so I don't want. Not necessarily that. I think just that particular year, it just felt like it was overdone. So because it was so overdone, I ended up not wearing mine that much. Like, I'll show you what I mean. The tag is still on. It's not left my house. It's not left my house. It is a stunning clutch, don't get me wrong, but I feel like if I haven't worn this bag in over a year and a half, why am I still holding on to it? I know it's a tasteful clutch. So the reason why I kept it was because I was like, Tumi, are you being irrational? There could come a time where you're going for a lot of weddings. This is such a chic bag to be able to wear for a wedding or like a formal event. It looks way more expensive than it is. Not necessarily like if you don't want to have like a Bottega or any kind of thing, like I can like, these are the kind of bags I would get from like a Mango or a Zara that looks very expensive and so tasteful. Like, Tumi, are you being irrational? So please let me know if you're like, Tumi, I get that everybody wore it and it might have been a bit like, come on, why do we all have the same uniform? But give it a chance. If that is what you think, please let me know in the comments below. So the pros for this would be, again, it would be one that I could let go of, create more space in my wardrobe, open my heart for the new things it is that are coming. And you know, there will be nicer bags. You've had 1.5 years, you've not touched it. To me, are you really going to touch it? So the real pro is making room in my wardrobe. And if I go the selling route, I can make like a few, I don't know, like 30 pounds. It's not much. I probably will give it to a charity shop. Now the cons is, Tumi, are you being irrational? You've not even had this bag for, okay, I've had this bag for almost 1.5 years now, I think. 1.5 years. Are you being irrational? Are you making the decision too quickly? I think those are the only two things. Pretty much the only two things. So, woo! That is pretty much it. 3 bags. We have 1 luxury, premium designer, 1 high street. Please let me know what it is you think of all 3, which ones you think I should toss, and where you're like, Tumi, give it 6 more months, 1 year, and if you still feel this way about them, let them go. I haven't sold anything just yet. They're still in my collection, and I think that's pretty much it. Now, since we're here and we're talking bags, I actually want to talk to you guys about something that I got ages ago that my friend and I were discussing. I was like, this is such a funny thing. It's actually this one. For a second, did I think about selling this? I'm not selling this. Like, there's no way I would sell this. And it is this tiny bag from Fendi. I got this vintage from Vestiaire Collective for like 124, 150 pounds or thereabout. And now it sells for, I think, roughly anything between 800 and like 1,200 pounds. It is a very expensive bag. So it's gone up in value. And I think the reason why I actually want to talk about it is in this new season, I've really been thinking about what I want to have in terms of accessories, bags, shoes, etc. And whilst I am getting more into designer ready to wear, like I've noticed like my appetite for them has really been increasing. I'm also trying to think about like my handbags and accessories and the weighting in terms of how much trendy bags do I want to have and how much investment bags do I want to have. Because the truth of the matter is that these things are so expensive and I don't like the idea of just having so many that are actually, quite frankly, not valuable. Like we all know that the most valuable brand in terms of handbags is Hermes, but Hermes is very expensive. And right below, I would say I don't know if I'll say Chanel, some Chanel pieces like that Minia, I don't know how to pronounce that word. Like there's some of their clutches are still investment pieces, but I'd probably go pre-loved if I wanted to get Chanel. But this is also an example of an investment piece in the sense that I got it for 120 something pounds and now it's well over 1,000, which is such a, and I love it. I still love it. I still wear it. So I feel like that's also why I'm thinking of which ones do I want to sell, because I want my collection to really be a reflection of me, but I also don't want to be having random pieces, random stuff here and there. Of course, I'm going to have the odd trendy piece here and there, or like I'll think about the weighting. Is it going to be 80-20? Is it going to be 90-10? Is it going to be 75-25? Because I can't just have just Hermes that, or just Chanel. That's just a bit too constricted. Like, come on, we want to be free. But yeah, that's just a little bit of a footnote as you think about like the decision and what it is that you're thinking I should do with all the things I've shown you. But that's pretty much it, guys. That is my dilemma for the week in terms of my wardrobe. But let me know what you think. I'm really looking forward to reading you guys' comments. Please be as detailed as possible. Help me, hold my hand as we make this decision. And in terms of where I'm thinking of selling, it's probably going to be Vinted or eBay. I already have a Vinted. Please definitely check that out. I feel like I have a few things listed on there already. But yeah, let me know what it is that you think. Oh, why Vinted and eBay? Let me actually explain. Vinted is really good because they have like I think they have like this whole like authenticity thing you can do as a buyer, which means that if people want to authenticate it, they can just like work it out with like Vinted and then get their stuff. And I feel like things move quite quickly on there. And eBay is also really good. You know, eBay is super huge. Like there are so many eyes that can see your item. And there are a bit of pros and cons to both, which we can go on which you can see on a different video, which I have done speaking about both platforms. But I'm considering Vinted and eBay. But I think that's pretty much it. Whew. Thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing your comments. Au revoir. Bye, guys.